The worst mistake of my life was supposed to be forgotten the next morning. But here I am, weeks later, still answering his midnight calls like some addict waiting for the next hit. I didn't even know his name that night. The bar was noisy, the neon lights bled into each other, and beer blurred everything that wasn't his smile. He leaned too close when he talked, laughed at my stupid jokes, and kissed me like we'd been keeping secrets our whole lives. I told myself it was nothing, just a night, just a kiss, just a body pressed against mine when the world outside felt too heavy. But it didn't end when the sun came up. His voice followed me, first as a memory, then as a number lighting up my phone at 1 a.m., whispering things he swore he couldn't say in the daylight. And every time I picked up, the lie I told myself that it was just one night grew weaker. I wasn't supposed to fall for him. His name was Alex. He told me 2 nights later, when his call woke me up again. My apartment was silent except for his breathing through the speaker. "You're gonna think I'm crazy," he murmured, his tone heavy with something I couldn't name. "I already think you're crazy." I shot back, half asleep, but my chest tightened when I heard the soft laugh that followed. Alex. The name stuck in my head like a bruise you can't stop pressing. The next time, he didn't just call. He asked to meet. I told him no. I told him it was dangerous, stupid, reckless. And yet, 20 minutes later, I was standing outside a diner at the edge of town, watching him smoke under a flickering streetlight. There was a sadness in his eyes I hadn't noticed at the bar. His shoulders hunched like he'd been carrying something for too long. And when I walked up, he didn't smile the way he had that night. He just looked at me like he wasn't sure I was real. "Why me?" I asked before I could stop myself. His hand shook as he flicked the cigarette away. "Because you're the only one who didn't look through me. I should have left right then. But instead, I stayed." Alex was a contradiction wrapped in flannel shirts and late-night laughter. He joked like nothing could hurt him, but his eyes told the truth every time silence fell. The truth was, he was lonely in the kind of way that makes your chest hollow. We started meeting more often. Sometimes at the diner, sometimes in my apartment. He'd talk about music, about his brother, about how he hated the way the city made him feel invisible. I didn't tell him much in return, but he never asked for more. He just needed someone to listen. And me? I needed someone to make me feel alive again. It wasn't long before the meetings blurred into something neither of us named. A brush of his hand against mine across the table. His shoulder resting against me when we watched TV in the dark. The silence charged with words neither of us dared to say. But one night he kissed me again. It wasn't drunken this time. It wasn't rushed or careless. It was soft, deliberate, a question written in the press of his lips. And I answered. When we pulled apart, he whispered, "I don't want this to be just a mistake anymore." And I hated how much I wanted the same thing. But love, if that's what it was, doesn't grow easy in the shadows. Alex had secrets. I could feel them every time he hesitated before telling me where he'd been. Every time he glanced over his shoulder like someone was following. He never let me meet his friends. He never invited me to his place. And when I pushed, his walls went up so high I wondered if I'd ever get over them. One night he didn't call. The silence of my phone was deafening. I told myself it didn't matter, that he wasn't mine to lose. But when 2 nights turned into a week, I found myself walking past that same diner, hoping to see him under the streetlight. He wasn't there. When he finally showed up, his knuckles were bruised, and his eyes looked like they hadn't seen sleep in days. "Don't ask," he muttered, sitting heavily on my couch. His hands trembled as he reached for me, pulling me into a hug so tight it almost hurt. And I didn't ask. I just held him. That night, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't just addicted to his calls, his touch, his kisses. I was addicted to saving him from a world I couldn't even see. The breaking point came on a rainy night in November. Alex showed up soaked, his shirt clinging to his skin, his lips pale. "I can't keep doing this," he said, voice raw. "Doing what?" My heart dropped, but I already knew. Us. Hiding. Lying. Pretending I can want you only in the dark. His chest rose and fell like he was running out of air. "I want more, but I'm scared as hell." My throat tightened. Scared of what? Of losing everything. My family, my friends, myself. His eyes brimmed with tears. He tried to blink away. "But I'm losing you anyway, aren't I?" I wanted to tell him no. that he wasn't losing me, that I'd wait, I'd fight, I'd burn the whole damn world down if it meant keeping him. But the words stuck in my throat. Instead, I just kissed him. Desperate, broken. All the words I couldn't say pressed into his mouth. That night, he didn't call when he left. And I thought maybe that was the end. But love doesn't vanish with silence. A week later, my phone lit up again at 1 a.m. His name on the screen made my heart ache. I answered, breathless. "I'm outside," he whispered. I ran. There he was, standing under the streetlight, rain dripping from his hair, shaking like he was holding himself together by threads. When he saw me, something in him broke. He rushed forward, grabbed me, kissed me like he'd been starving. "I don't care anymore," he choked out against my lips. "If the world hates me for loving you, let it. Just don't let me go." I laughed through the tears burning my eyes. I never could. And in that moment, the fear, the lies, the nights of silence, none of it mattered. Because finally, we weren't just a drunken mistake. We were real. And he still called me every night, but not to hide in whispers anymore. He called because love had finally found its voice. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.